Welcome to the Light of Sirio podcast. My name is Dori Fari and I will speak with a realized spiritual master about his views on life and the topic of spirituality.
Hazur Maharaj Sant Ji, you're my Sadgurus, I bow down to you. Hazur Maharaj Sant Ji, you're my Sadgurus, I love you. Hazur Maharaj Sant Ji, you're my Sadgurus, I adore you.
So we arrived to the second episode of season 3 of this podcast, and I hope you all enjoyed to listen to the first episode, in which we could hear the continuation of Master Sirio's personal spiritual story after Master Kipal left the body, so we could come to know how you, dear Master, heard about Sant Ajaib Singh, how you decided to set on a new adventure to continue your spiritual quest and going to Rajasthan. And we just stopped the first episode when you met Sant Ajaib Singh in Rajasthan in his ashram, when you arrived with the group. I remember very much this scene as you described how he was there, greeting all of you, and you were introduced to him. And here I would like to connect something. I remember once you told me something which you didn't mention, and to me it sounded very sweet somehow, because your name Sirio in Indian language, Hindi, Punjabi, then Siri, it's something very special.
It's like God.
Yes, and then
But it was later on.
that was later.
Yes,
I thought right at the first meeting.
No, it was later on. Yeah, I don't think he said our names. He just said these are coming from Italy, this from Italy, this from America, this and that. No, that happened during my interview, first interview I had with him. Then he asked, what's your name? So I said, my name is Sirio. Sirio, I said. Really? Siri Waheguru. Siri Waheguru for the Sikh is salute to the Supreme God, actually. So I was surprised by my name. And anyway, then we had lunch. There was just one room, one big room, in which we all fitted one bed right beside the other. I happened to be in between two women. Because we were all mixed up, boys and, men and women, and we all stayed in the same room. I took a bed, and beside me there were two women, and one was Alicia, which then became, with whom then I became very good friend. She was a very special Satsangi. And there was another one, I don't remember her name now, on the other side. So they gave us lunch, we had lunch, and then around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we had a meeting with Sant Ajaib Singh in his inner courtyard, because there were two courtyards, one for everybody and one for his personal space.
So I suppose you were very excited finally this meeting with him.
Yes,
just like greeting him, but
now we meditate with him, so that's going to be special. So we sat there. He said, you people are all I think very educated. I am not educated, means I am not learned. I didn't read many books, but I read the book of life, which is this man body. And this is what I know. So I would advise you also to learn how to read this book of the human body, and for doing so you have to do your meditation. So now we try to meditate. We began meditating. I had a very nice meditation. Then of course we went our way, he went his way, he went into his room. Well, at the end of the meditation he asked each one of us how our meditation was. So we all told him. And then in the evening, I think there was a satsang. So he came around 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, I don't remember now exactly. He gave a satsang, which was translated by Papu into English. And then from then on, Sanji asked me to translate everything he said for the other Italians. So there was always this translation from Punjabi into English and from English into Italian. I was not used to translate, so it was also I must say, I didn't know very good English at the time. I tried my best and I was kind of talking with a low voice, so the other Italians were kind of despaired or kind of tense because they couldn't understand what I was saying, they couldn't hear what I was saying. And so they complained, you have to raise the tune of your voice. So I tried to learn how to do it. I had never done it. So that was practice for me to learn English and to learn translating from English also. Days went by, and the more the days went by, the closer I became with him, the more I opened up to his presence, to his personality, to his way of conveying the teachings, and all these aspects. We had a meditation in his room, and it was a very small room, maybe 15 square meters. So in those 15 square meters, these 20 people that we were, more or less, had to fit, because we were some 18, 19, but then there was him, there was Papu also for the translations. So we were really jam-packed, one sticking to the other. So, I mean, you couldn't move much, even if you had pain in your legs, you had to sit and meditate. So in the morning we would meet, talk some, have some questions and answers, and then we would meditate for an hour with him. Then in the afternoon also we had a meeting similar to this. And then in the evening he would come to give satsang. But every morning at 3 o'clock he would come out from his room, and there was a big bell, and he would ring the bell. And so we all got up at 3 o'clock, and we had meditation from 3 to 6, then from 7 to 8. Then we would go into his room and meditate with him. This kind of program. Anyway, although it was very beautiful and it was very special, by and by, as the days went by, I realized that anyway, Ajaib Singh is not Kirpal Singh. He's another person. As I keep saying, my experience with Master Kirpal was so very special and so very powerful. And I loved him so much. I had fallen so much in love with him that at some point I became kind of cool-hearted. Rationality began coming into play, and my mind, I could say, coming into play and telling me, well, Ajaib Singh is very nice and definitely is the best I have met after Master Kirpal, but he is not Master Kirpal. Naively, I thought that the successor of Master would be like Master. Successor of Kirpal Singh will be like Kirpal Singh, but he wasn't like Kirpal Singh. He was another person. That's how it has to be, because we are all different, and the truth is expressed by different masters in different ways, in their own personal way. And Sanji was not a photocopy of Master Kirpal. He was himself. So he gave out the teachings in his own way. And that's the beauty of it. But I didn't understand it at the time. I was very bound to the ways of Master Kirpal. I just wanted those ways and that kind of atmosphere which was around him. Ajaib Singh had another kind of atmosphere which was his own. So I went into a crisis and I thought, look, Sirio, you're not going to be able to follow anybody. So I think I will go away. So I kept thinking and pondering over how to do it. I didn't want to influence my friends, Italian friends who would come with me. So I didn't want to tell them anything. I just wanted to disappear without saying anything.
Oh, wow. But also, how could you live through the desert?
That's the point. I began thinking, how will I do it? Go across this long way to reach Ganganagar in the middle of this desert. The next morning came and I was pondering over all this, how to face this adventure. And then 9 o'clock there was going to be meditation with Sanji in his room. So I thought, well, I give him another chance. I go and have this meditation with him. So I went into his room and funny enough, I don't know how it happened, I don't know why, but as soon as I sat there, he began looking at me. And he went on looking at me all the time. Other people came, he just met them with his glance, but then he just stared at me. So I was a bit embarrassed, but at some point during this meeting, which lasted 2 hours, more or less, at some point while he was looking at me, of course, during meditation he wasn't looking at me, the hour dedicated to silent meditation. But then during the questions and answers like this, he was looking at me all the time. So at some point while he was looking at me like this, I felt like a breeze, I can say, a breeze of energy, fresh breeze of energy, just entering deep into my cells, into my soul, into my whole cells, my whole body. And once it went in me, then I kind of exploded. And it became so powerful that I was shocked by this incredible energy that penetrated me. This was almost at the end of the meeting, so eventually I got up with the others and we went out. And it was not my fantasy that he was looking at me all the time, because once we went out the room, all the others began saying, how come he was looking at you all the time? I said, what do I know?
Well, actually later on, after many, many years when this happened, I heard from somebody who was present at that time in that group, and she told to me about this, that they were hoping that some darshan, some glance of Sanji would bounce at them also. But they said, no, he kept staring at you, looking at you all the time.
Yeah.
And they kept looking at him, hoping that he looks at them as well, but he didn't.
So after this, I wanted to be alone, because I was in such a condition that I didn't want to talk with anybody, I didn't want to see anybody. So I went out of the ashram. There was a road leading into a field in which Sanji had built a house, let's say a small hut, when he went to live from 16 PS at Satararbi. Sometimes he would take us for walks there, and then he would sit there and give a small satsang like this. So I went into that hut. Sometimes I turn back and try to look at the ashram, especially look up at the room, which was kind of a small tower in which Sanji was staying. And I couldn't look at there because the energy would become so powerful that I couldn't take it. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I reached this small hut. I went inside and I sat in meditation, and it was like sitting in a oven, really. It was like in fire. I had such a wonderful meditation, such a powerful, incredible something. So after this, I never had a doubt anymore that yes, the body is different, the personality is different, the way of giving the teaching is different, but the power is just the same. Mm-hmm. So you shut up, dear mind, leave me at peace. From now on, I dedicate my life to this man.
So it was not you to change your mind, but he changed your mind.
As I say always, we do nothing. It's all done by divine power, divine energy. Sometimes in the evening he would give satsang, he would talk about his relation with Master Kirpal and how much he loved him and this and that. And then I would go out from that room and just take a walk in the ashram, and I would feel like being in heaven, really. Just no more in this physical dimension, but even the ashram itself changed its shape, its form. All the walls of the ashram, everything was radiating light. And I really felt like being in heaven. Wonderful experiences, really wonderful sensations. So this went on for 10 or 11 days.
I just wanted to ask how long the program lasted with him.
I think in the beginning it was 11 days. Then we got ready to go back home, to go back to Ganganagar. I mean, the jeeps came, and so he was greeting everybody. He came outside the ashram, and as we went into the jeeps, he was there giving us darshan. He came himself to me and to Romeo, one of the other Italian satsangis, and he put his two hands on one on my shoulder and one on his shoulder, and then he said, "I'm very happy that you came." So then we took the jeep and we went back to Delhi. I think after 1 or 2 days, we had to go to the airport.
Yes, you were supposed to have the flight.
Yes.
Which was not confirmed.
Catch the flight and go back home. But we went to the airport, it was evening, and when we reached the counter there, they said, you didn't reconfirm your flight. I said, what? Reconfirm what? This is the day we have to fly back. I said, yes, but you have to go to the agency, to the office in Delhi and reconfirm it before coming here. So we don't have a seat for you. Oh my God, so what we do now? We took a taxi and we went back to Papu. I think maybe Papu came with us. I don't remember exactly. Anyway, we went back to Papu's house and we said, look, this is the situation. And they right away said, oh, this is Master's will. You have to stay here some more time.
So what happened to your flight then?
So eventually we went to the office in Delhi and they told us, okay, for a long time now, all the flights are fully booked.
Oh.
You will have to wait. And eventually we decided maybe we go back to Rajasthan again. So we postponed the return. So we booked eventually for after returning from Rajasthan.
So you didn't book at that time right away?
No, we booked right away. But we consider that this is the day the group comes. This is the day when we return from Rajasthan. Then Papu said, but look, then Sanji is going to come to Delhi also. So he will be here for 4 days. So you book ahead of that. So we booked for, let's say, after Sanji will leave Delhi and go back to Rajasthan after his program.
So you had the plan to go to Rajasthan and come back to Delhi together with him and then go after?
Yes.
Wow. So you had to prolong your stay in India?
So we stayed a month and a half. A month and a half we stayed in India. Mm-hmm. So again, Papu's family, the Baga family, they said, you can stay with us. They were really liking me. Actually, they proposed me to get married with one of their daughters. Which somehow I agree. But then somehow it didn't happen. Anyway, we stayed there and it was a very nice time. And sometimes Papu would take us to places, or his father would take us to see places in Delhi. I think we went to Savan Ashram also on one occasion to see the ashram of Master Kirpal. Then the group arrived. Russell Perkins was also there in the group. And we went to Rajasthan again. That was also wonderful, even more wonderful than the previous one. Because now I knew the whole story, I knew how everything worked there. I really felt at home because I had been there just 3 weeks before. I had a very nice time, really. My mind was very peaceful. There was no comparing anymore of Sanji with Master Kirpal. And I had a wonderful time, and he was always so loving and kind to me. And after we had the first meeting with him, he said, all the other satsangis go and the Italians stay. So all the Americans went away and we stayed, and he said, Master Kirpal didn't want you to go back to Italy because he wanted you to come back here to me and sing me that song which you were singing last time. So we sang it to him, and it was very nice, really.
And which was this song?
It was the Moon Mantra. Ek Onkar Satnam Kartarpur Nirbo Nirve Akal Murat Ajuni Sai Bangur Parshad Jap Ad Sach Jagad Sach E Bi Sach Nanak Hosi Bi Sach Nanak Hosi Bi Sach Nanak Hosi Bi Sach. There was. And then some other songs also. In the evening, sometimes he will ask me to sing. So I was singing some songs which I knew, small ones, which I learned when I was in India with Master Kripal in 1974. So that's how it went. At some point, on one occasion, he told me, look, I am going to the United States. Would you like me to come to Italy? Oh, yes, please, if you want. We'll be very happy to organize a program for you. So he said, okay, you have to talk with Russell Perkins and see if it's possible to do it. So that's how it began, this story. He proposed it to me at the very first time. Later on, I told him that I wanted to start an ashram in Italy, buy a place and see if we could make it into an ashram. And he also agreed with that. He was very enthusiastic. And he said, I'm sure that will be very good seva for your soul. So many things came up. So many seeds were sprouting there that then became
just right at the first
plants.
Meeting.
Yes, that became the course of my life, the destiny of my life.
Then eventually did you go back to Delhi? And
so we had this very wonderful program, and eventually we had to go to Delhi. So Sanji was also coming. So there was a jeep in which he was going to sit. And he said, the Italians come with me.
Oh.
So I was sitting just behind him. Yeah, he showed me in so many ways how much he loved me and how much he cared about me in a special way. He was asking everybody what they saw in meditation at the end of the meditation. To me, he never asked. And somebody complained, why don't you ask Sirio his experience in meditation? And he said, should I ask him? Why should I?
It's interesting. People questioning the master why he does something with somebody, or how is it?
Yeah. So we went with him, we stopped on the way doing things, and then we reached Ganganagar. We had such a wonderful darshan. Russell Perkins also was there. Somehow he arrived with us. He was not on the same jeep with us, but he arrived at the same time. But the rest of the group arrived maybe half an hour or an hour later, at least half an hour later. So we were in this room with him, and we had wonderful darshan. He gave us prasad, very intimate. And then he gave us satsang. When the group arrived, he gave us satsang for the Indians also. And then in the evening, we took the train to Delhi. And we arrived next morning in Delhi. We went to Pakpu's house, and then he had a busy schedule, giving satsangs here and there in Delhi. So I think he was giving one in the morning, one in the evening, some other place. And people were going to see him, so having interviews with him, darshans, personal darshans with him. So we went through all of these, and it was so intense and so very special, really. Sometimes we were invited in the houses. When Sanji, at the end of the satsang, was invited to go in the house of the people organizing the satsang, then he would call us to join him. And of course, all the rest of the group had gone back to their place, to America or South America, whatever it was. And just we Italians stayed.
Ah, okay. So they didn't stay during this
No,
Delhi program?
No, they didn't. Maybe they didn't even know, or it was not planned. So they went back home.
Well, you waited a lot for this to happen,
Yeah.
so you deserved it.
It was just 4 of us Italians, because 2 of the Italians also had gone back already home. Russell Perkins was there. So we became acquainted. I became acquainted with Russell Perkins also. Russell Perkins was the American representative of Master Kripal, who follows Sanji. let's say, the president or the founder of the Sambani Ashram in New Hampshire. And he was the one who was inviting Sanji to go to the United States and organize programs for him.
So he was a central character in the Sangha.
Yes, he was. Let's say in the West, he was the main character. So at some point, Sanji had to go back to Rajasthan. So we took him to the Delhi Central Station, and he took the train. And while the train was going, when it started off, after giving us the darshan and all the very nice things, he went on the train and he went on waving his arm until the train disappeared.
What a nice memory. Imagine this scene. Still very beautiful.
So then, after a few days, we came back home, and I was so sucked up in his energy. I was so drenched, like a sponge of his energy, that I dreamt of him every night. And when I sat in meditation, his face was there. I was very saturated with his essence, really. So he became the living form for me, he became the living form of Master Kirpal. As Master Kirpal used to say, when the Master leaves and he comes back wearing a different kind of dress, like brown dress or a yellow dress or a blue dress, won't you recognize him? It's just the same man with a different dress. The same person means the same power with a different dress. So that's how I understood Sanji, like Master Kirpal with a different dress.
And then eventually, did you take the flight back to Italy? Did you succeed?
Yes. We took the flight, we came back home, everything good,
so
everything
it
nice.
was like a fairy tale, a very beautiful story. So I think we continue next time. But as always, now those who follow this podcast are used to it, that we always close every episode with a song. So since it's an event which makes one very enthusiastic and this kind of appearance of Sanji, we prepared a song which somehow tries to give back this kind of enthusiasm about Sanji. Next episode comes after 2 weeks, and please, if you like it, then subscribe to the podcast, follow it, and leave a comment. And if you have any questions or any suggestions, then you can do it by sending to siriopodcast@gmail.com. Thank you, dear Master, for recalling all these your beautiful, wonderful memories about meeting Sanji. And now let's listen to this song sang by Master Sirio.
Sanji, 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 our hopes will lay in you. By you, by you, by you, we want to be blessed. Our heart is bursting out with joy. We love, we love, we love. We bow down to you, Sanji. Sanji, 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 you are our father, mother and brother. You are our Lord, that we adore with all our heart. To unite with you, we won't by any means. We love, we love, we love. We bow down to you, Sanji. Sanji, 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 our hopes will lay in you. By you, by you, by you, we want to be blessed. Our heart is bursting out with joy. We love, we love, we love. We bow down to you, Sant Ji. Sant Ji, Sant Ji, Sant Ji. Your father, mother and brother, you are our Lord. We adore with all our heart. To unite with you, we won't by any means. We love, we love, we love. We bow down to you, Sant Ji. Sant Ji, Sant Ji, Sant Ji. Our hopes will lay in you. By you, by you, by you, we want to be blessed. Our heart is bursting out with joy. We love, we love, we love. We bow down to you, Sant Ji. Sant Ji, Sant Ji, Sant Ji. Our hopes will lay in you. By you, by you, by you, we want to be blessed. Our heart is bursting out with joy. We love, we love, we love. We bow down to you, Sant Ji. Sant Ji, Sant Ji, Sant Ji. Your father, mother and brother, you are our Lord. We adore with all our hearts. To unite with you, we won't by any means. We love, we love, we love. We bow down to you, Sant Ji. We love, we love, we love. We bow down to you, Sant Ji.